one second. There we go. Okay, so you're going to smoke today. You're going to smoke a Magnum 50 on the show, and you're going to review it and tell everybody what you think. Very cool.
I will. I'm not sure if I smoke that. The thing is, I have a little bit of Alzheimer's kicking in.
Well, we
From
know
the
that.
perspective that I will smoke. I may have smoked 5 or 6 of these, and
Yeah.
I'm having difficulty remembering what they're like, and that could be that
Right.
they're forgettable cigars. It could be that. It could be
Okay.
that I have a diminishing memory. It could just
It could
mean
be the
that.
it could be the diminishing memory. You never know. But I'm going to do something interesting today. Is I'm going to actually smoke. I'm going to smoke an AVO, um, something or other, Univisella, whatever. And this is the
Let's
first
have a
time
look.
first time I've ever smoked this one. So I'm going to smoke this one, and then I will give an opinion on it and see what the story is.
They're all
This
the
is what we can do.
same. They're just pieces
Oh,
of
here we go. We're going to start with
meat.
this. We're going to start with this again.
I
So,
mean, yeah. I mean, someone's got to say it. Are we
all right,
saying
that's
out loud what most people think?
that we're pretentious because we smoke cigars.
Have we plugged into the zeitgeist of modern private thinking?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe could have. That would be exciting. So, but I haven't had an AVO in forever, so I thought it would be fun to have an AVO. So I'm excited about
Sounds painful.
it. I know. So I'm excited. Mhm.
I'm cut and
And
ready to go.
me too. And we're going to start the show in a second. Now, for the people that are wondering where our sommelier is, Usman sent us a message earlier. Once again, he took too many Viagra, so he can't make the show. So hopefully he'll be here next week and the Viagra will have worn off.
He may show up. You never know. Usman is a in a nice way an unpredictable character. I believe he's with family now. He's got family visiting,
Yes.
and he may take 5 minutes out and magic in and magic out.
Wow, that would be nice. And after we just did the Viagra joke.
I think especially for the Viagra joke, he'll turn up.
Oh, I'm sure. Last time we said the Viagra joke, we got 47 text messages after the show. So, but for fun, let us start the show as we both light our cigars. And good morning to everybody, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. And welcome to the Habanos Cigar and Drink Show. And today we're going to discuss our cigars, what's going on in the world, and whatnot. So join us for the next 45 minutes to an hour and enjoy.
Advert.
And what he just said as well.
This is 2OF Entertainment.
The Habanos Cigars Dinner and Drink Show, exclusively on 2OF Entertainment, with over 100,000 YouTube subscribers and rapidly growing to be the most watched and podcast cigar show broadcast globally. The Habanos Cigars Dinner and Drink Show, exclusively on 2OF Entertainment.
All right, kiddies, we're back. Here we go. All right. I got to tell you right off the bat, I'm not impressed with this AVO. So, but we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll grow on me. Yeah, I know, right?
Having said that, there are some better dead leaves and there are some worse dead leaves, but they are all dead leaves.
Well, here's what I figured. I smoke the CAO Brazilian Amazon religiously, and I smoke a few other things religiously. And what I thought I would do is I have some of this other stuff in my humidor. I said, let me just try this. So I figured I would try it live. And if I don't like it, I'll just be honest. And if I do like it, I like it. Now, let's
see the band. Bring the close up. Let's see the band. Slow turnaround. Slow turn. It looks like a bit of an Arturo Fuente X.
Yeah.
X-Men Assemble.
There you go. So we'll see. So that's that. But I will say, my EGMs, and I got that right finally, they're on their way from Switzerland. I'm very excited to smoke those. So, and they don't know it, but they're going to become a sponsor because we've taken their families. And we're flexible, but we're looking forward to that.
You're like a soothsayer. You're able to predict the future.
I'm seeing the future. Yes,
seeing the future.
Yeah.
You're
seeing the future.
A future seer. Strangely enough, coincidentally enough, I'm at an EGM exclusive party event sometime soon in London.
Yeah, nice.
The EGM boys are the owner, Ettore, and some of their marketing team are coming over. We're going to have a little event, and I'll let you know. I'm going to try and smoke through some of the Vitolas. I'll let you know what they're
Okay.
like, so that you can have a good idea of which ones to smoke and which ones perhaps to leave for sort of like a rainy day.
Well, I know that the sample box I got has like, I don't know, 6 or 7. So I'm looking forward to just starting from the left and working my way through to the perfecto that
There's
you
a
told me
yeah,
about.
there's a way of doing it. I did
Yeah.
tell you which one everyone has told me is they've kind of
Far
given the
right.
some surprise away. They've given the surprise away and told me the one to smoke, should I say it, is the Encanto. And
Yeah.
now I've smoked the Encanto on 3 occasions. And every time I look at the cigar, I think I smoked it on the show last week, right?
Yeah, you did.
I keep
Yep.
looking at it. I'm wondering, that's not half bad. It's a very, very
Yeah.
surprise, genuine, sort of a genuine surprise. I'm not trying to market it or anything. I'm not in the business of marketing things. In fact, I'm in the business of bringing things down, back down to
That's true.
earth.
That's true. The stock
That's where I am.
market,
I'm
oil.
basically
So,
basically yes. I'm more than anything. The old world was the old expression was hater, but I'm not really a
yeah.
hater.
Yeah.
It's just that I'm a man of strong likes and dislikes.
Yeah.
But it's with this particular brand of cigars. I don't know
Right.
about the whole brand. I cannot hope to talk intelligently about the whole brand because I haven't really smoked the whole range. I started where I was told to start. I
Right.
can't see it getting better than that. So I wait to
Gotcha.
be pleasantly surprised.
Okay.
Now, in that case, I guess the order in which you're going to, so that selection box, which Usman held up last week. I mean, if anyone wants to see it, they can kind of look at the back shows.
Right.
Is sort of like ascending order of length. I think
Yeah.
not necessarily ring gauge. Ring gauge diminishes.
Right.
It goes to the Lancero, which is called the Encanto, which is the one
Right.
I'm slightly waxing lyrical about. I've
Yes.
had a few people, friends, whose eyebrows have hit the ceiling when they've heard or seen me talking well about that cigar. I said, listen, you're talking crap.
Yeah.
You really don't know what you're talking about. And I said, well,
Yeah.
each to their own. Why don't you
Yeah.
smoke your dried leaves and I'll smoke my
Right.
dried leaves? And I'm looking forward to seeing you with the EGM range.
Yes.
And maybe as a series, you smoke one after the
Every
other.
week. I'm going to
Yeah,
do,
yeah, yeah.
when the box gets here, it takes 14 to 21 days, which I was like, seriously, I don't know if they realize who I am. Apparently they didn't. So it's going through, it's going to be put on a pony, apparently from Switzerland. And then the little pony or donkey is going to get all the way to the UK. And then they're going to give it to like Mark Spitz or Mark Feltz, and he's going to swim across the Atlantic. And then when it gets here, it's going to be on another pony and get here. So it takes about
No,
21 days. So that'll
Mark
be my
Spitz.
December show for
Mark Spitz,
Spitz.
multiple Olympic gold winner,
Oh, I know, the best.
1978,
72.
two.
No, 72, because that's when
No,
he
I don't
was
think
there.
it can't be 72. I was born in 72.
And here's why. That's when the Israelis got killed in the Olympics, and that's when he was in the
Was
Olympics.
it the 72 Olympics?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Well, the reason, well, I think you are special because the reason it's going to take 21 days for you to get your cigars is they haven't been rolled yet.
Mm.
They're in Dominican Republic being selected
No,
right now. The
according
tobacco is being
according to
selected.
the email, according to the email from EGM or
Mhm.
MOUSE, it was put in the post, I think 2 days ago or 3 days ago, and then my United States Post Office said we're tracking it, and now it's stuck in somewhere. I don't know
It's
where
going to
yet.
be
I'll
stuck
find
in Miami. I reckon it gets to Miami, just stays there.
forever. Yeah, I'll have to call them, and they're going to be. You're a great sponsor. I've never smoked one of your cigars yet, but that's okay. But I'm looking
Dur-
forward to it. I'm very excited.
During COVID,
Yeah,
I ordered a bunch of cigars just because I was flirting with the notion of smoking lots of New World cigars. So
sure.
and there is a I can't remember, was it a Honduran brand or Nicaraguan brand, Tabacalera Aragon, and they had a base in Miami. And
Right.
I would order a bunch of 30 cigars from them or
Yeah, yeah.
whatever it is, right?
A
Yeah.
bundle.
And they're very interesting that I really enjoy watching tracking. I love
Yeah.
it's like if I've ordered something, like if I've ordered a little gift from Italy for my
Right.
daughters, one of my daughters or something like that, right?
Right.
I like that little journey that gift is going on.
Yep.
The same with the cigars. I like to track. Oh, it's stuck in Miami. Oh, it's
Yep.
going to New York and it's coming back to Miami. It's very, very interesting. I really enjoy that. I get off on things like that.
Yeah. Well, it's not on the show, please. It's a family show. But I do the same thing. I every day I get my little notice and I go, where is it today? So it's like it got picked up, it got to the Swiss Postal Service, and now it's disappeared. I guess until Monday or Tuesday, I'll get something and it'll be like, this is weird. Once it gets to the United States, I'll be excited. And they're not Cuban, so there should be no problem with customs.
No, well, they come Dominican Republic. Well, it's Dominican cigar. It says on
Hmm.
the box Dominican cigar. In fact, I posted on my story yesterday
Yes.
a box of EGMs, and it says quite clear.
I'm gonna go ahead.
One of the interesting aspects of this show, I've had a little bit of
Mhm.
feedback. I'm actually bumping into people who watch this show or watch this show quite regularly. I'm finding
And
that interesting.
they're not family members.
And
That's
they're not
amazing.
family members.
Wow.
And one of the interesting things that people are finding about the show is it's sort of
Yeah.
like a beginner series, especially when we've got Usman here talking about really
Cigars.
basic stuff, but it's really
Yeah.
good. I mean, I know there are some quite distinguished cigar smokers out there
Right.
who kind of have skipped over the basics, or it's in terms of a refresher course. It's really nice to hear Usman talking about how to cut a cigar,
Yes.
vitolas, etc., etc. One of the things that I have encountered quite a lot recently in the cigar lounges in London
Right.
is this explosion of merchandising.
Yes.
The explosion of cigar accessories. I remember very distinctly pre-COVID and a little bit more pre-COVID. I'm talking around 2012, 2013, 2014, having a cigar accessory like a really nice lighter
Right.
or a really nice ashtray. Generally speaking, I'm talking. I'm talking. In a mainstream level. I mean, there were a lot less cigar smokers then,
Right.
and people were not really buying accessories. Accessories were slightly inaccessible. They were kind of pricey. They were kind of now. I have noticed over the last, let's say, 2 or 3 years, very specifically, especially in the last 3 years, especially post COVID,
Right.
everyone is doing cigar cases,
Right.
leather cigar cases. See, this one
Right.
is a fairly attractive one. See, this one is an ST DuPont.
Hold on. Let's get a close up of it because we want to. ST DuPont could be a sponsor. There. Oh, the Joker. Very nice. Very pretty. I see. Wow. Look at that. You don't see that every day.
Now, any high end or any luxury brand that does leather is doing cigar cases. I walked into a Berluti store in London a month and a half ago. They're doing cigar cases at,
Right.
I mean, we're talking £1,000 cigar cases, right?
Right. Right.
These ones are sort of like 250 all the way up to about 450 pounds. This one's customized. You can see it's
Right.
customized.
Right.
That to match my lighter.
Right.
As you can see, the two are.
Yeah.
It's a customized one.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, but and this customization thing is, and for example, the luxury brands like Goyard are doing
Right.
Goyard, Hermes, Berluti, really top end brands. Then you've
Right.
got the sort of standard brands that most cigar enthusiasts know about, like St. Dupont, Les
Right.
Fines Lames, Colibri, Cigar. These are sort of like kind of established brands. They make cigar. They make cigar lighters.
Right.
They make cases. They make humidors or travel humidors. You can put your cigars in them. Really well decorated. They make ashtrays. One of my favorite ashtrays, by the way. You may have seen this on the show before. I'm
Yes.
addicted to this design.
Yeah. You
Havana
showed it
Club. I
that
mean,
last week. Yeah. It's very
it's
pretty.
honestly, it's my favorite. I think it's my favorite ashtray. I like the fact
Right.
that it's black and white, monochrome. Um, but you get these in different colors, relatively inexpensive, but sort of a
Right.
classic design, classic font kind of thing. And sort of, if you want it as a decoration piece, it sets off your room. It's that kind of stuff. And ashtrays are becoming decoration pieces, statement
Right.
pieces. Then you have the other range of accessories. And there's a reason why I'm talking through these accessories in a moment, because I'm going to start hating in a moment, as you know. right? Because I'm building up to the hating.
Yes, I was you
I'm
say
trying
we're
to be
gonna we're
fair. I'm trying to give you. I'm
yeah,
trying
yeah.
to give you a run of the battlefield, and then I'll pick
Sure.
out my targets, and then right. So here's another one. So I'm wearing on my wrist here. This
Okay.
is Le Fin Lam. Let's see if you can see that properly.
Yep.
So
Yep.
this, have I shown you this before? This thing
Last
comes
Sunday.
apart. It's basically a
Yeah.
cigar punch.
Oh, very
So
nice.
you can be walking around, as long as you've got a lighter or a box of matches on you, you're
Yeah.
not without something to cut your cigar with. I mean, the only thing you can't cut that with is sort of a Pyramides
Right.
torpedo cigar, because you need to physically take the top off. But I'm sure you find a way. But
Yeah.
most cigars can be accessed with something like this. Gadgets. I like to call these gadgets.
Right.
Sort of
I agree.
a Cold Warish kind of spy
Interesting.
kind of
Before
feel.
you go off on how you're going to hate everything.
No, I've already gone off.
Oh, okay. Before you go further on your hatred, you guys are behind the curve because I know in the early 2000s, we in the
No
United
competition.
States. No, well, what can I tell you? Before electricity, we had cigar cases and the
Before
fan and before
electricity.
electricity and the fancy lighters. We had all that.
You had
I still do. I had that like in the late 90s, early 2000s. I have like 5 or 6 cigar cases that I carry my stars in. I've got a couple nice lighters. I don't use them here. I like them in the office. But I'm just saying, so we had that. So
what
for
I'm
you guys
trying
to
to
catch up,
describe.
yeah,
What I'm trying to describe to you, and I don't doubt that, right? No,
yeah.
but it was a thing, but it was not a vibrant market.
It wasn't as prevalent as
Right.
it is today.
So
But
so
that's
here,
because even in the 80s when I started to smoke cigars, we had all that, but it was a much different mentality back then, is because back then, whether you used ST DuPont or you used whoever, whether your cigar case
fucking
was
hell.
alligator
I
or
just dropped the
whatever.
ash.
Oh man, I hate when that happens. I'll just keep
So,
going on
oh,
with my
sorry,
story.
I swore.
Yeah, you can never say ash on YouTube. They get very upset. But the whole thing is that because there wasn't social media, nobody cared. Like you would go to a cigar lounge or a club or a private club, and we would pull out our cigar case. I would sit down, and someone would go, "Oh, that's a nice case." I'd go, "Thank you." That was it. It's
You
not
want to see a
like we
nice
had to
case?
do.
You want to see a nice case? You want to see a nice
Sure, sure.
case? You know what case? That's a nice case.
Nice. That's a beauty. I got it.
That's a fucking nice case.
Yeah.
Now, that's a customized Alfred Dunhill.
Yeah.
It's so good that you reference the 80s. There's a reason. I'm trying to build a story here.
I know that.
If you walked into a cigar merchant's in the 70s or 80s, and
Right.
I'm old enough to remember what it was like in the 70s, all right?
Right.
Okay.
1870s.
It had a certain look, had this old
Right.
mahogany look, and
Yeah.
the products that you had were cigars. You had pipe tobacco, you had pipes, you would have cigarettes perhaps in the back. It was
Right.
a
Right.
tobacconist,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they did fine cigars.
Correct.
Today, 2024, in a very and London, by the way, there's a reason why I wax lyrical about London, and you have the privilege of London feedback. London, I think, quite easily. I don't think it's. People will say it's the Middle East. People smoke in the Middle East is no big deal, right? Okay. The thing is this: London is perhaps the most vibrant place for Cuban cigars,
Yeah.
accessibility to Cuban cigars, and it's very vibrant in terms of now the accessories market. If you walk
Yeah.
into a typical London cigar store, well, it's not a cigar store, it'll be a cigar merchant with a sampling lounge,
Right.
right? Okay. The front of store will be inundated with accessories because those are the things by law that you can display,
Right.
right? So the way that, and maybe this law will catch up absolutely everywhere around the world, but if you walk into a cigar shop, you cannot in London have cigar advertising. You cannot have on your glass frontage the Partagas logo. You cannot
Wow.
have, no, you can't have that. And Davidoff
Yeah.
of London have got away with it because it's been there for a certain period of time,
Oh, grandfathered
and
in.
it's. I'm sorry.
It's grandfathered in.
To use an expression, yes,
Yeah.
it's sort of a piece of art to some
Got,
extent,
gotcha.
and those chaps have benefited big time for it. I think it's like having, on the Formula One cars you would have Marlboro and
Yeah. Yeah.
Rothmans and this. and you can't have that. All you can have is the colors, and I don't even think you can have the colors anymore.
Yeah, there's
You
nothing.
can't have anything because we live in this woke world full of pussies who want to, emasculate things like Jaguar, which is a very manly kind of brand. This is in my head right now, yeah,
Jaguar
right.
is not a manly brand. It's a brand for women. Unless you own a Jaguar, then it's a very manly brand. Sorry.
It's not a Jaguar, it's a Shaguar.
A Jaguar, yes, for Austin Powers
Yeah,
in the
baby, yeah.
1960s. That's a manly car.
I
The
had that one.
Jaguar.
That's the one I had. I had the
That's a,
XKR, which is
oh, those are beauty.
I didn't have it with the Union Jack on it. Thank you very much. I had a
That's fine.
black one, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And I had that one approximately 20 years ago. That's how old I am. I
Wow.
had it 20 years ago. I got it because it was a James Bond villain car in Die
Right.
Another Day,
But
which I
those were
love that movie.
those were Jaguars. The Jaguars of today, they're just like, I don't know. I don't see anything masculine about them. They're just like, yeah, okay, it's a
I
car.
kind of agree with you, but I kind of agree with you on that most cars. I'm very much. By the way, what I'm saying is not science. I think it's just a
Right.
truism.
Yeah.
Cars were prettier when they were actually designed as cars. Now they're designed
Yes.
as products,
Yeah.
right? And when I say now, it's been a gradual process, but
Right.
discernibly to my eye, over the last 20 years, I've seen deterioration of design.
Yeah.
Over the last 20 years, little by
Yeah.
little by little, you've got some nuggets of design. I mean, I'm a friend of. I'm a cigar buddy of one of the top 10 designers of cars of all time.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him a shout out, Frank Stephenson, absolute king, Ferrari designer, Maserati
All right.
designer, BMW designer, Fiat designer. What else? McLaren designer. He did the McLaren P1.
Wow.
Those are real nuggets
Hmm.
of design. I mean, one of the most beautiful cars in the world. It may not be my favorite. I think my favorite goes to controversy in my head whether it's an F40, an F50, or an
I
Enzo.
knew I
But
knew that was coming.
one of the cars they designed is the McLaren MC. Yeah, is the McLaren MC12.
Right.
Prettiest,
Yeah.
but it's a pretty car, but it's brutal.
Yeah.
It's got everything going for it. It's got these slashes in the bonnet like nostrils, but they're like
Yeah.
they're like tiger slashes. It's just a beauty. But you get nuggets of design, and we've had this gradual diminishing
Yeah.
of design. And then the I don't know how we got into this conversation. I think I referenced Jaguar.
There you
It's
go.
not just Jaguar. A lot of the car brands, even
All
Mercedes.
of
Look at
them.
Mercedes. I'm not particularly enamored. Mercedes is one of my favorite brands. I'm not particularly enamored with the modern
Bentley,
Mercedes.
Mercedes,
I'm
they
more
all.
sort of
I
like
will
the
tell you a car that I will tell you a car I'm fascinated with, and I vacillate a lot with is the Spectrum by Rolls-Royce. That one to me has
Spectre.
Spectre. Thank you. It depends on. I've seen one in a certain color, and I'm vacillating if they get it or not get it. And the reason is it's just the color and the wheel design and the way they did it makes it look just very aggressive. And I'm like, okay, this could be
It's
interesting because
bulky.
most of
It's a bulky. What I like about it is it's a big bulk,
yeah,
and
but it's
yet at the same it looks dynamic, and
yes,
I think there you talk about good design. I
that's
don't
a
know
good
if it's
design.
perfect, but the whole point is if I is to have a car that looks even when it's standing as if it's on the move.
That
That's
one does, and that one
and that
does.
one does, and that one
Yeah,
looks
yeah,
as if it's on the move, even if it's standing still.
yeah.
So when it comes to design, all this wokeness, all these fucking 14-year-olds that are running marketing campaigns who
Hmm.
still, who want to focus on pronouns and which toilet they want to go to. Yeah, fuck them all. They're all it's this world. This
Yeah.
world. They're not going to make this world go forward. They've retarded this world,
Well,
right? And you don't need people like me to say it.
right.
It will diminish. It
Oh
will.
wait,
It will.
your favorite person, Donald Trump,
Select
who's our
natural selection is going to
yeah.
filter that out because it doesn't appeal to anyone. It's actually we live in a world. I'm so sorry I've gone off on this right instead of
Go
talking
go
about
go.
cigars. But the cigar smoking activity in itself, which is sort of a very old school
Yeah.
activity, used to be a privileged activity. It thankfully it's become something which is far more accessible, even though the top end cigars have just got way up in
Right.
price. It is, for me, ultimately, it's a time traveling activity because it's the kind of thing that people used to frown upon. I'm
Hmm.
finding people a little bit more um, accepting of cigar smoking as compared to cigarette smoking or
Right.
vaping or something, because it's considered, and um, I guess people in the cigar world have worked. I'll give them a compliment for a change. They've worked really hard on legislation, working with governments to keep it right. We've got to preserve this activity.
Right. Right.
It's a revenue generating activity. It's an old world activity. It's not, as long as people do it in their area, in their sort of a
Mhm.
confined lounge or their personal space, great, go for it. They want to spend 50 quid on a cigar. This one's 50 quid. Uh, Let them, because we get 65% of tax revenue from it. You
Yeah.
know, it's this
Well,
weird balance, but it keeps the manly act, sort of
right.
manly old world activity. Now, it is a manly activity.
It's a manly activity.
I'm
Yeah.
glad there are more ladies smoking cigars. I'm absolutely glad.
Mm.
That's a lovely thing. But it's a manly activity. It's sort of
Right.
why must everything that we do be diminished down to woke level, or sort of be masculine? Why should it, when men we do, well, the ladies
Right.
love to put lipsticks on. That's their activity. You can't ban them putting lipsticks on. That makes them look good, makes them women.
Right. Well, it makes them something. But to go to your woke thing, the Trump administration, they don't like woke, which I applaud them. They're like getting rid of all the woke. And I'm like, thank God we're going to go back to um, a society where you can actually, like New York, where you can speak your mind and not have people go, I don't care that I insulted you. Then don't do something stupid or
Did
you
you
feel
did
you're
you just
bullied.
did you just pay the Trump administration a compliment?
Yes, because they've
So
asked me to
yes,
be they, yes, that
once again,
they've
we like
they've
to pick
asked me
winners.
they've asked me to be
We
the
like
head
on this
of
show. We
getting
like
rid
to
of
pick
woke.
winners. Had more people watch this show, the prediction was Trump is going to win.
That is true.
It
That's
was
true.
fucking obvious that
Hmm.
Trump was going to get win. Everything else was anti-spin.
Yeah.
Everything else was it was that
I know.
crowd, and I
Right. But
wasn't with the crowd.
but
I was with the
I'm
win.
excited that I'm excited for a lot of what he's may or may not do. We'll see. But I'm excited that they're going to get rid of the woke thing because I think this woke thing is a bunch of crap. And I'm tired of everybody being afraid to say what they think. I want someone to tell me the truth. And if you're an adult, it will not hurt your feelings. If you're not an adult and you're a 5-year-old, then it'll hurt your feelings, and I don't care. And then
What do you want to pretend to be today?
what do I want to pretend to be?
Yeah,
Human
what
being,
would you like to pretend to be today?
a human being. So that's it. That's all I got. I don't pretend to be anything. I'm just me. I just like you. I
No, no,
bumped into
because
some.
with the woke culture, we can be
Yeah.
anything. We can
Nah.
identify as anything, have our pronouns.
You
All
know,
this
I heard something
fucking
interesting.
crap.
Pierce Morgan. I watched an interview he did with a black. I guess it was a
I
black
saw it. I
lady.
saw it. I think I saw it just before it came
Yeah.
on. It came
Right.
up
Right.
on YouTube.
It was
Yeah.
a black lady that identified as a black man, and Pierce Morgan said, "If I want to identify as a black person." Is in the guy and the person was like, well, that's ridiculous. He goes, and finally he said, that's ridiculous. And then Chris Morgan said, exactly. So you being a woman identifying a man or a man identifying as a woman is ridiculous.
If you're gonna try it and talk sense to stupid people, you
They
will go
can't.
crazy.
Oh, that doesn't happen.
You go
Right.
crazy. Yeah. Right.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, if you think there's a hope in hell of educating people,
Not
which is a
happening.
different thing, talking sense to stupid people is a waste of time.
Right.
Okay, because you're talking to a brick wall,
Right.
right?
Right.
If you want to educate them, then that's got to start off at home with mummy and daddy,
Correct.
right? Good luck for that happening. I think
Yeah.
society. I personally think society is. Oh, I think we're going. What did I see on YouTube or Instagram? There's this blind lady.
Yeah.
She's a soothsayer. This is what I picked up on your soothsayer thing just now. She's predicted that Vladimir Putin and communism are
Yeah.
going to reign supreme in the next 20 years. He's going to be around. He's going to be.
Wow.
Communism will make a return, etc., etc., etc. She's predicted that time travel will be possible by the year 2350 something. I don't know how she's come up with these things, right?
Or
And
she'll be
she
dead, so no
predicted,
one will know.
well, someone come back and wake her up and tell
There
her
you
that
go.
it didn't happen, right? She predicted the world will end in around 5,000.
Okay.
Anyway, these things came up, but the thing is this: um, I think society is over. I think it's all over. I think what you're seeing, these words, you see this show will
Yeah.
be found playing on a cracked iPhone after the apocalypse,
There you go.
and people see this face and, oh, someone talking sense.
Yeah.
It's a shame we couldn't stop it. You know,
Yeah.
like these
Well,
post-apocalyptic
yeah.
movies where someone finds an old tape recorder or an old video, and you'll be seeing, and our face will be fuzzy
So yeah.
with static electricity.
And
So,
they'll be
so what you
like,
have to say it, get it out of your system, just say
yeah,
it
sure.
because it's
Have
all
you
over
you've
from
met
now.
me? You know that I have no problem
That's why
saying
we're
what I
smoking
say. Yeah.
cigar. That's why we're smoking cigars, saying what we want.
Yeah.
We're
This
we're
is
putting a flag down for
that's
humanity
right.
before it all
That
goes sideways.
we're trying to help you, man. But the Trump administration has asked me to come in and get rid of wokeness, and I'm like, no problem. I'll be there. I'll be there on Monday. We'll take care of that shit right off the bat. So
Oh, it didn't take long to turn you over to the
listen.
dark side.
Let me explain how
Yes, the dark
I am.
side of the force is
That
strong
I,
now.
yeah, it's very strong. And here's what I tell people: I am the oldest profession. I am an investment banker.
Well,
You can buy,
prostitution.
yeah, investment banking, same thing. You can buy my loyalty, and they did, and I'm good with that. So here we go. So. You write a check, daddy's happy. It's the way it works. Welcome to America or capitalism. So there you have it. So what can I tell you? But anyway, going back to the cars really quick. Um,
Oh, yeah.
the Rolls Royce that we spoke to Spectre, I think that's a fierce looking car. Um, I
I'll tell you
think
what. I'll tell you a better car for the money, which has the same well, not the same cachet, but similar. A Bentley Continental.
I
It's
don't think
better car than
they don't do anything for me
get
for
it in
some
pink.
reason.
Get it in
Oh,
pink.
I was going to get in a hot pink all over, but no, it's just I've seen them. I've driven them. They're nice, but to me, it's a $200,000 BMW. Now, yes, Rolls Royce is a $500,000 BMW, but still made by hand, and the cows are virgins, and it's a little different. But I like um, the Bugatti because the Bugattis,
Bugatti. That's such an
Bugatti,
Americanization. A
I know
Bugatti.
Bugatti. How do you say it?
Bugatti.
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 What do you sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger all of a sudden?
Bugatti.
The Bugatti.
Bugatti.
Bugatti. Anyway, I like the
Bugatti.
Bugatti. I like the Bugatti. It has just a classic look to it. Like 1,000 years from now, you can look at that car and go, "That's a cool car." In my opinion, I could be wrong.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what.
Here we
Let's
go. Yeah.
end this conversation completely with the winning car.
Call your
In
friend,
terms
have
of
him come on, and there you go.
in terms of design,
Hmm.
uh, I don't know if he would disagree with me.
Right?
I'll tell you, the car that's the winning car in terms of that is a 1980s Mercedes S-Class.
Maybe.
It is distinctive. It is
Right?
long lasting. It is cool.
Yeah.
It is desirable. It turned a page. It just smacks of
Yeah.
understated elegance, but so
Okay.
understated that it stands out. It's such a
Right. Right. Right.
weird mix.
Yeah.
Everyone who wax lyrical about the Countach or the Countach, as it's meant to
Yeah.
be pronounced. Lamborghini Countach is the pronunciation. I've spoken
Okay.
to several people about this.
Okay.
We've come to that.
Okay.
You can go do your own research. You'll come down to Countach
Okay.
with a
So,
F40 or F50.
you ask this all the time. It goes. I'm
I
still at
say it
the
all the time because
F40.
I'm unsure myself.
I'm still an F40. I like the F50 as well, but the F40 is like to me like the LaFerrari. It's like the Enzo. There's just something kind of elegant about the F50 is very nice, but it doesn't do anything for me.
Okay, let's ask a different question since we're on the car topic all of a sudden, right?
Sure, why not?
Prettiest car of all time. Money, no object.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be expensive.
Okay.
The car that you would want to be seen in
Hmm.
driving slowly around London in.
I have two of them. The one is
In your head, have the battle and come out with the winner.
no, because they're two totally different cars. The first one is the car from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, the car that they used in that Chitty Chitty Bang. I like that car, and the one
Bang,
that the pink
bang,
and the one
chitty,
that the
chitty, bang,
Pink
bang, chitty,
Panther
chitty, bang,
used to
bang, bang.
drive in the beginning of his cartoon. That big
Oh,
yeah. And
yeah.
can I
Think
tell
of
you,
all
I
the
saw them
animals.
both go for sale in Philadelphia when I was a kid back in the late 60s, early 70s. The car for Chitty Chitty Jang Bang went for sale for $26,000 back in the late 70s or early 70s, and the Pink Panther car as well.
But
And
you're talking
when I
about
was,
fictional cars. You're talking about fictional
no, those
cars,
are real
which
cars you
is
can drive.
no, I understand, but
Yeah.
they're from fiction.
Hmm.
Do you have any car that you would want to be seen driving around? And there's a reason why London, because
Yeah.
I hold London still at the top. Like it's not the Middle East. You could drive around anything in the Middle East,
Yeah.
and
Everybody
it's one
has
of
one.
anything else.
I was just going to say, like a
Right.
Bugatti's on every corner.
London or New York. Even New York is a little bit of a thing, but in
Yeah.
London, which car would you drive around in and want to be seen in?
I want to be driven in the Phantom. The Rolls Royce Phantom. I want to sit in the back, Rolls Royce Phantom
The
with a
newer
scotch and a
one,
cigar.
the sort of like last 15 years, yeah?
Like the last three years ago when they came out that newer model.
Yeah.
That's the one. I'd sit in the back with my cigar with my chauffeur. Of course, she'd be a hot Asian chick. And I would just smoke my cigars, driving around and drinking scotch. That's the car. I don't want to drive it. I want to just enjoy it.
Well, look, you went for the uber luxury.
Yeah,
I absolutely. Do you remember Beverly Hills Cop?
I do.
Do you remember the villain?
I do. The Mercedes.
Victor Maitland,
Yep.
black S-Class Mercedes is
Mhm.
what I wouldn't want to be driven around there. I would drive
Right.
around in a black S-Class Mercedes,
Okay.
but slap bang middle, 1983, 84, 85,
Yeah, yeah.
that kind of thing. Oh,
Beautiful
black
car.
leather seats.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty, understated, not trying too hard, class, elegant.
Right.
It's got it. Reliability. You could
Yeah.
put 1,000,000 miles on that car.
Yeah.
Right. Prettier than that would be the SEC. But you know what?
Right.
A 4-door S-Class.
Yeah. Or the other car which Mercedes did really well with is the Goldwing. I like that's a pretty car too.
Well, I had
There's
the
just
Gull Wing. I had the Gull Wing,
Okay.
and
No.
it
Okay.
kicked ass over Ferraris. No one looked at the Ferrari. They looked at the Gull Wing. They looked
Yeah.
at the Mercedes Gull Wing. There you go.
Right.
That's the car I regret selling the most.
I would have never sold the Goldwing if I had it. They have the newer Goldwing, the SLS something or other.
Yeah, that's the one. I had the SLS.
Okay. Okay, I thought you had the original. I was going to be like, don't be
No,
crazy.
the
and sell
original. I'm an
original.
idiot to sell it. I'm a complete
Yeah,
bloody
yeah.
idiot to sell that one. But
I looked at the new SL or the SLS models, and I'm like, it's an interesting car, but I'm like, it's somewhat practical. But it's more of a look at me. I'm in this car.
it's
I
a
like a car that's
bruiser.
kind of
It's a complete bruiser. The
yeah.
really good thing when it comes down to design, it had
Mhm.
that it had that old world contemporary feeling to it.
Right.
Looked like a classic.
Yeah.
It looked like a classic at the time that it was when it was new. It looked like
Yeah.
right. This is a modern classic.
Right.
It had the bulges. It had the shoulders. It had the sort of the big bonnet sweeping away from you. When I'm driving, the space to the left of the car was massive. You could hardly touch the person sitting
Right.
next to you. And so when you're looking at down the bonnet of the car, the bonnet extends much more to the left as a right-hand driver. You're
Right.
not like it's not a compact car. It's a wide car. It's sort of like get
Okay.
out my way. It's a get out my way car. I have a huge amount of love for that car. I have a huge amount
Right.
of sadness I've flogged that one.
Now you could always buy it again.
Yeah, but they've doubled in value. Doubled maybe
really?
2.5 times in value.
Yeah.
And but yeah, but Mercedes always did it for me. Mercedes is
Yeah.
is
That's
something
the only Mercedes that does it for me. I mean, I've seen their other. I've driven. That's the only one that I look at. And I'm like, that is kind of a cool daily driver that I wouldn't mind driving daily. You know, that's kind of it.
a daily driver has to be something that's reliable and
Is that not
friendly
reliable?
and fun, right?
Is that not reliable?
Sorry, all Mercedes.
that-
Yeah, that was fucking reliable. I'm not.
Well, I
I
mean,
haven't one.
the Nazis make a good car. I know. That's why I'm
The
saying. As long as it's
Nazis
reliable.
made something. I mean, all things said and done, right? The
Yeah.
nuts and bolts were correct. The
Yeah.
nuts and bolts were correct. The purpose was wrong. The nuts and bolts were correct. Anyone can make a knife. It's a
Right.
murderer that will use it for the wrong way.
That's true.
You know, from that perspective,
Right.
that even BMW, Bayerischer Motorwerken, even the BMWs, yeah, these were all sort of, if you really want to go down the deep hole of history, these were all part of
Sure.
the Nazi machinery.
Yes.
Having said that, so are these.
Yes. Louis.
I mean,
There you go.
this is an H. Upman,
And this
right?
is an AVO. And there, can I tell you, the draw's a little tough. Not a lot of smoke, but it has a nice flavor to it. So it's not that bad.
What are you getting out of it? What kind of flavor are you getting out of it?
So I'm going to do your thing. A little woody and nutty, and chocolate.
Oh, there you go. Correct.
It's woody, nutty, and chocolate. There you go. Now I'm going to get a letter from AVO going, that cigar has no woody, nutty, or chocolate flavors at all. I'll be like,
You
listen,
imagined it. It was
that's
all a
right.
dream.
It's all in my head. I don't care. Leave me alone. That's what it is.
You
So,
ever been
but
to? You must have been to no end of wine tasting. You go to wine tasting, and the sommelier will say, "Well, what are
yeah,
you getting?" And you say, "I'm getting crab
buzz.
apples and crab apples and strawberries." They say, yes,
Yeah,
you are. They'll
right.
always agree with you. They
Yeah,
always
and,
agree with you because it's a mirror. Whatever you're getting, good for you.
yeah,
You're getting
that,
that. Good for
that's
you.
right. You got something.
There's
Gives
no
gives
bloody
you.
wrong. There's no wrong answer. So I'm smoking the H. Upman Magnum 50, right?
I
I've
love
got onto
those
the H. Upman range primarily because Usman pushed me and said, "Look, you got to
in there.
smoke these." I smoked recently 2 times. I had a magnificent H. Upman Magnum 54, and I
Right.
smoked that at number 10 Manchester Street,
Okay.
which is a hotel in London, not too far from. Not too far from Harley Street. Everyone knows Harley Street
Right.
in London. Harley Street's like very old, famous road for medicine and general practitioners, etc. It's a very famous.
Right.
People come around the world to be treated. Harley Street. So this is 2 or 3 streets down Manchester Street. There's a hotel there, and in the ground floor of that hotel, they have a cigar lounge. Really great
Mm,
cigar lounge. 3 Italian chaps run it, and
right.
I had a Magnum 54 there one night, maybe 10 days ago. I loved it. And to be honest
Wow.
with you, it's all context because I
Right.
got there on a Saturday night 2 weeks ago, and these guys said, "Oh, the lounge is full, but we're going to put you in this extra special place." They put me on the
Mm,
terrace, which was really nice. It was sort of outdoor terrace, great heater running. I was sitting with a friend of mine,
right.
and sort of like that, sort of very private. You can focus on the cigar. You can focus on the
Right.
conversation. The cigar tastes better as a result. You could smoke the same cigar in a group of 8 people and not even notice what you're smoking.
Correct.
And that's why I don't really like smoking with more than 2 or 3 people,
Yeah.
ideally,
Yeah.
unless I'm going to a cigar event where everyone is smoking the same cigar.
Right.
And one of the cool things about cigar events, like I've been to no end of them at number 6 Cavendish, is when
Right.
everyone is simultaneously lighting that cigar, you get this extra sort of flow of aroma around the
Yep.
room, especially if
Yeah.
it's a great cigar, and it leaves a mark on you. It's that the opening salvo of that cigar is that beautiful aroma that goes around the room
Hmm.
of lighting up a really decent Cuban or sometimes a shit cigar, but
Yeah. There you
really
go.
decent
By the way,
Cuban.
I met not personally, but I met him Thursday, the owner of Cavendish.
AJ Patel.
The bald guy, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Mr.
yeah, yeah,
Clean. I
yeah.
met Mr. Clean. I was like, "There's Mr. Clean." So very. He was talking about. We are talking with the dialogue was about aging old cigars and good whether you have. I'm very knowledgeable, very personable, very nice. He won't remember me because it was in the HERF, but it was like on.
That was
But
on
it
the
was
online. That was on the
yeah,
online
yeah. That
Cigar
was the online.
Keeper.
There's about 30 of us. Usman,
That
of
must have
course,
been
invited
that
me.
must have been 2 days ago.
That was last Thursday. Yeah, 2 days ago.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
missed that. I wasn't able to get to that, but
But yeah, AJ was going off, and I was just like enjoying listening to everything he had to say because I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that." So I always learn something.
that guy,
Yeah,
that guy knows more about cigars than most people on this planet.
I kind of gathered that. Yeah.
And not only does he know, I have my own personal opinion. I think he's number one.
Okay.
I think he's number one. There are other people. Obviously, there are experts out there. There's a whole roadshow of experts out there. What I like about him,
Right.
he collects cigars. He
Yep.
ages cigars. His experience is
Yes.
is something to behold, and it comes out comes out as very easy delivery.
Yes. He's
Um,
he's very he's just very chill, and he tells it to you, and he tells it to you, and I mean this as a compliment because we know AJ does watch. Um, he tells it to you like your grandfather would tell it to you, just like, oh, by the way, if you're going to do this, and you're like, oh, that's oh, and it's just the way his whole delivery, very nice, and his
well, that's
persona is very
educational. It's an
chill. Yeah.
educational delivery. It's not like mine. I just tell you the cigar shit. Well, it's really good, right? Yeah, but his is more of a, it's a more complex delivery. It's a
Yes.
more sort of like, work your way through it, try and
Right. Right.
understand it, try and understand how you should pair. Now, some of it, in my opinion, goes a little bit over my head in the sense that I don't necessarily agree with absolutely everything. Yeah.
Right.
Having said that, it has value and it has merit and has experience to back it.
Yes.
So that then you feel that you're in good hands. It's like, uh, would you drive an old Jaguar or a brand new Jaguar? You drive an old
Right.
Jaguar because
Yeah,
it has got
the
heritage.
Shagmobile. You
It's
buy
a
that. That's to me.
Jaguar.
That to me is a Jaguar. That's a Jaguar. That had personality.
Jaguar.
A Jaguar. There was a in Beverly Hills Jaguar. They were selling the replica of it, the newer model that they made like 10 years ago. And I was like, that's an interesting thing. But then when you looked at the price, I was like, it's not that interesting. So but they painted it up. They made it
When it
look
comes
really
to
good.
cars,
Yeah.
cars have you're seeing it happening. I'm watching it happening. I'm not enjoying it. Cars have turned into products.
Yes.
They're not cars. No one is designing them. Well, I'm sorry, I make a mistake. I'm sure there are some great designers out there, and I'm sure there are some great designers that are going to keep that tradition going. So
Let me ask you
I'm
this: Pagani and Koenigsegg, great designers or just a product?
no, no. Those are, in my opinion, those people are the top.
Yeah.
Horatio
They're
Pagani and Christian Koenigsegg.
yeah.
Those people are designing, building. First of all, they're doing it out of enthusiasm
Right.
and passion is an overused word. Everyone these days is about passionate about. Oh, I'm
Right.
passionate about cakes. I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
passionate about cooking. I'm passionate about cigar. Overused word, right?
Right.
Those people technically, from an experience perspective, from an aesthetic perspective, from an enthusiast perspective, they're like at the top end, like really top.
Right. Right.
Everyone else is playing catch up. And when you have and the other advantage they have is they're the owners of their companies.
Right.
So they have this very, the ethos of the car is me, basically. When
Yes.
I die, the ethos of that car will die.
It's like a
If
Ferrari,
another
an
designers
Enzo.
take over, it won't be the same
Yeah.
thing. It's
Yeah.
like Ferrari.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why people wax lyrical about the F40 is the last car that Enzo Ferrari signed off on. So in
Correct.
some sense, he imbued his personal spirit into that car. Did you like
Yes.
that? Did you
I
enjoy
like
that?
it. That was very nice. I like that.
See,
Yeah.
I'm not really a salesman, yeah, but I can sell myself into anything. So I sell to myself, basically.
Right.
Okay. So the F40 is the winner because Enzo Ferrari, like a shaman, danced around it and
Yeah.
imbued his spirit into it and said,
Yeah.
"This is the car."
Yeah. That's the baby.
Now,
Yeah.
the reason why people got the F50 is the F50 is actually an F40 with a V12 in it and curved edges.
Right. Right.
It still has that F40ish look, feel.
Hmm.
So it's a little bit of a unicorn moment. The F50. It's a
Right.
unicorn. It's not something that everyone immediately understands, right? And you hear the
Right.
two cars against each other. The F50 howls like a fucking banshee.
Yeah. It's got notes.
The F40 growls like a
Yeah.
monster. The
Yeah.
F50 is
Yeah.
like 3 blocks away. You hear the
Yeah.
F50 coming.
Yeah. And the new Ferraris are all just basically nothing. They don't look like anything.
I kind of disagree. I
Okay.
kind of disagree. They have
I mean, the 458
something.
I like.
They're
I like the 458. That's a good one. But the rest of them, I'm not impressed with.
the one that I love the Enzo.
Yes.
The Enzo looks different.
Hmm.
It looks like a Ferrari. It will always look like a Ferrari. The F80, if you squint your eyes, you can't really tell
Yeah.
other than the big mustache at the front, which I like, by the way.
Right.
You can't tell what it is. The Enzo, if you squint, it's still an Enzo.
Yeah.
It has the peculiarity of shape. It has poise. It has stance. It has these, So no, but the spirit of Enzo is in the F40. And then if you ask about Koenigsegg and you ask about Pagani, it's because
Right.
they have a spiritual head at
Yes.
the top. It's like Apple computers. When Steve Jobs went, Apple computers still Apple computers and Apple,
But it's not
but
Steve
it's not
Jobs,
quite
Apple.
Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
The innovation is not Steve Jobs. It's just very
Right.
woke. I mean, I'm on an
Yeah.
Apple phone right now. I kind
Me
of
too.
resent being on an Apple phone, but actually, I'm on an Apple phone because Steve Jobs did such a fucking good job. What he did is say all your music, all your
Yep.
movies, all your this, so anything you want is combined and stored in one place. So almost like a fucking slave, I have to keep upgrading from iPhone because it's simple. All my music and movies and everything and photos just flip over. It's just simple,
Right. I
right?
like it because I can go from my iPad to my phone to my laptop and everything's there. I don't have to do it's all there. I don't have to transfer. It's all there
But there you
because it's
go.
part of the Apple. Yeah.
There is a connectivity there.
Yeah.
So when it comes to these things, um, even with cigars, I guess
Right.
all the owners are gone. All the people who these cigars are named after. H. Upmann was like a German banker.
Right.
Um, they're all gone. What are we smoking? What we're smoking is
The
especially
legend.
with Cuban cigars. With Cuban cigars, actually, what we're smoking are the factories.
Yes.
What we're smoking is the heritage history in the factories that have the same methodology, albeit with perhaps better farmed leaves. So
Right.
the technology actually in the cigar, the way it's improved, has come from the horticulture, the agriculture of the leaves to
Right.
get that product to a stage where when they roll these cigars, you should be able to smoke them fresh out of the box. The ammonia is less. Uh, 30, 40 years ago, you had to wait. That was the whole point of aging cigars, is there was a rawness, and that was in the cigars. So you'd have to wait for that ammonia to slightly dissipate. The cigar would. It will be interesting to see. I think this came up in a number six conversation recently as well. Newer cigars, newer standard production cigar, or whatever cigar, new production cigar, how are they going to age in the next 20, 30 years? Because
That's true.
they're already pretty much smokable out of the box.
That's what AJ was saying. He was saying on the non-Cuban cigars, the New World. He said, if you let them age, he said, because of the way they're constructed today, he said, in 5 years, it'll lose its flavor. It'll lose it. It's just like literally smoking nothing. It's the old Cubans that if you age them, they get better with age. And I thought that was a very interesting thing. And it's true. If I smoke like my CAO Brazilian comes out, I don't know about the EM or the EGMs yet. I haven't gotten them, but I know that a lot of the New World stuff, if I let it age more than a year, it's like no. So everything can age maybe about 3 to 6 months, and then I've got to smoke them. So you can't really keep those for like 20 years.
Okay,
But the
I'm going to give you a suggestion. I'm going to give you a
sure.
suggestion. See if you can take the suggestion. When you get your EGM box,
Hmm.
I'm going to go contra. Smoke the Encanto first.
The big one. I'll smoke it on air.
It's not the big one. It's the
The
long.
baby.
It's the longest one, but it's got one of the thinnest ring gauges.
Okay, that's the
So
one
that's
you
cool.
smoked last week.
I smoked that last week.
Yeah, I'll smoke that on the
I
air.
no. So what I'm saying is, you were talking about getting the box and then smoking them up the series.
Yeah.
Smoke it reverse order.
Okay.
There's a reason why I say smoke in reverse order. I have a feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
That if you start with the best cigar,
Right.
this is slightly counterintuitive.
Right.
I'm experimenting, but I'm experimenting at your dollar cost.
And
Okay,
I appreciate that.
right? And I know you love me for that, right? Okay,
Yes. Yes.
but what I'm saying is start with what is considered to be the best one. I think what will happen is you'll enjoy the others because you will have that lingering expectation, and I don't
Ah,
think they will let you down. I think they'll
gotcha.
keep that expectation. If you start with something meh-ish,
Yeah. Yeah.
you I think that will last throughout the smokes.
Gotcha.
Start with a good one.
Okay.
if you've ordered the sampler box, if I were you, I would have ordered just the box of Encantos and
I
then gone to a sampler box.
I know, but the reason I did that is because you guys were like, "Oh, you should try it." So I'm
I
like,
didn't.
"Try
No,
it."
no, 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 no. It wasn't me. Usman
Usman.
encouraged you. I'm not
Right,
criticizing him. He encouraged you to go for the sampler
right.
box. It's a good thing. But
That's
I'm
fine.
saying to you, I've done it. On my
Right,
dollar cost, on my pound cost,
right,
I've done
right.
the experiment for you. My recommendation
Mm,
is go for the one that the market says is the best one first.
okay.
And if I were you, don't smoke it once. Smoke it 3, 4, 5 times, and you'll
Well, I
say,
have to
right,
order.
I've got my eye into it.
I'm gonna have to order the bundle then. I think they come in a bundle of 50 or something, if I'm not
You
mistaken.
know what? I strongly suspect you're going to start smoking the Encantos as a regular.
That's what I'm thinking. It's gonna be my new go-to cigar. So I have a funny feeling once they're a sponsor, I'll be like, just send me a truck of,
Yeah.
it'll take
Um.
us 6 years to get here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So.
nothing to say to that one, huh?
Hand in the air. This is a pledge
Yeah.
on air. This is a pledge on air. Next week, I will send you the Alexander Croft special edition by EGM.
Okay.
So Alexander Croft is a sartorial elegance. He's not just an ambassador. He's got a huge Instagram, but he's got his
Oh wow.
own clothing company in Monaco. He's a Monaco resident. He's into classic cars and everything.
Right.
EGM have got together with him and done an Alexander Croft
Ooh.
edition EGM cigar. So it's a wider ring gauge. It's a
Right.
bit like a Cohiba Ambar, that kind of
Oh
size.
wow.
Sort of,
Okay.
um, I will send you one of those. I haven't
Okay.
smoked one yet. I'm actually very much looking forward to trying it. I want to see because I've smoked so many Dominican cigars. They're all very
Right. You're not impressed.
no, they're okay. There's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing. I can't say, wow, I had a sophisticated smoke or I had something
Right.
that had complex flavors or complex aroma. It's just a great smoke. You get a lot of smoke. You blow a lot of smoke. You can sit outside having
Like
coffee. It's
this.
wonderful. It's fine.
Right.
There's nothing hugely wrong with it. Yeah.
Right.
But so we're having this EGM event in London. It's a
Right.
very exclusive event. I will try and not try. I will. So it's a pledge. I
Okay.
will send you one or two of those sticks. I want to see what you think of those.
Sure. I'll smoke them on air.
Um, but I think the Encanto may become your regular smoke. I think you might have to slightly steer away or go on sabbatical. How about
Right.
we use a word from your cultural lexicon? We'll go on sabbatical for the CAO Brazilians,
I'm good with that.
uh, and try the EGMs for a while.
Yeah.
See what you think.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I'm very excited about the EGM. Everything I read, I'm like, okay, this will be interesting. So when I literally got off the show last week, I ordered it. I was very excited. And then it said it'll take 21 days. And I'm like, well, that killed the excitement.
Well, hopefully you get them sooner, but
Yeah,
let's
me
see what
too.
that
But
happens.
that's fine. And then so I'm looking forward to smoke, but I will smoke the long skinny one first. And I'll do it
The
live on the air. Eh,
Encanto.
The Encantos, the long skinny
The
one, the Encantos.
Encanto.
I will smoke that one first. And then you're probably right. It will be my go-to. And then I'll end up just ordering. I think the Encantos come in a bundle of like 50. So I'll end up just getting the bundle.
I was shocked because normally I get nervous at a small ring gauge cigar. They're normally a bit tight. They're
Yeah.
not easy to smoke. Perfect draw on that. Absolutely perfect draw. I smoked it 3 times just to make sure. Perfect
Right.
draw. A little bit of flavor. Not a huge amount of flavor. A
Right.
little bit of flavor. Non-abrasive. Slight sort of chewy kind of taste. Bang for buck.
Yeah. And they're
A
not
bit
that.
like a bit like a Ferrari F40.
There you go. And it's got
Bang
that
for buck.
spirit. Yeah. Oh, I know Usman knows them very well because he's been talking to them all week apparently. So, and now you're going to go to a.
I'm meeting the owner and the team next week. Let's see
That's
what
very
happens.
exciting. Oh, like we can't plug them anymore for free anyway. But I'm just saying, no, I'm looking forward to smoking them, and hopefully they will become my new go-to cigar. For a while, it was the Oliva V Double Toro, and then I got bored of smoking those after a few years, and I went to the CAO Brazilians, and they've been mine for a long time. And then I have other cigars I'll smoke, but those keep my go-to. But if the EGMs become my go-to, then I'll be a very happy camper.
You didn't perhaps remember to say my advice on the Camacho Connecticut.
I did. I
That's
did. I did when I was in Washington. I went to the cigar store and I was going to buy two, one to smoke there and one to bring back.
mhm.
And the guy said in Washington State, you cannot smoke in a cigar store, and there was nowhere to smoke. And it was sort of like, yeah, screw it. I'll get it when I come back to Austin. And I have not had the chance to go get it. So that is on my list to go get to try that
You'll
one.
enjoy that one.
Okay.
Camacho, Connecticut.
And that's the whatchamacallit, the light blue label one.
No, 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 no.
No,
Don't smoke the blue one.
no blue
The
one.
blue
Sorry.
one is like,
Okay.
that's called the Ecuador. That will,
Mm,
don't start on that one.
okay.
Build up to that one. The
Okay.
Camacho, Connecticut is a sort of a orangey, is
The
sort
orange
of
flavor, the orange one. Okay.
processed cheese, processed
Yes,
cheddar,
yes.
that orangey
Sure.
kind of color is that color.
Yeah. Wow, that's a good thought while I'm smoking to think I'm smoking processed cheese. I like it. So before we have to go soon, what is your so let me just say about this AVO. It was started off a little rough, but I will say now it's not a bad smoke. It's got good smoke, a little bit of flavor to it. So overall, it's okay. Would I smoke it again? Probably not. I mean, but if
I,
it's the only
I
one there, I
I
would.
I can make that cigar better for you.
Yeah, dip it in tequila.
Dip it in tequila.
Dipped it in scotch. It didn't help. So, but no, it's
It
not
does.
dipping.
If
You
you
inf-
if
you
you if you
infuse
if you're
it.
on a
You
cigar, if
infuse
you're
it.
on a cigar that's not delivering, dip it.
Yeah,
What the
yeah,
fuck, you know?
that's true. Or
I
just
mean,
drink the Macallan I was drinking,
I
and I'm
think I'm
good.
the only person in London who's taken a Cohiba Ambar
Hmm.
and
And
dipped
dipped
it.
it.
I dipped
Wow.
it, and everyone's gonna go, "You animal!"
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
dried leaves.
Oh, here we go with the dry leaf. The AI's kicking in again.
It is. I mean,
I
it
believe
is.
you. I believe
Well, what are these? What is this?
that.
Is this
That's
gold?
an H
No,
Upman.
they're dried leaves.
I got that. Yeah.
I mean, call a spade, call a dry leaf a dry leaf. It's dried
Okay.
leaves at the end of the day, right? Oh, that's
Right.
not the etiquette. Fuck your etiquette.
There you
That's
go.
what I'm
Hey,
going to do with it.
there you go. Now, talking about your dry leaf, your H Upman 50. How is it?
I find it a little bit linear in its smoke, which is expected. I smoke relatively strong cigars, Cuban wise, right?
Right. Right.
This is a light. They say medium to light.
Okay.
I say
Right.
light. Can you see? Hang on, let me show
Hmm.
you the band properly. So let's focus in on that. Can we see?
Yep. We can see it. It's perfect. H54, Upman 54, the Magnum. Yep.
No, it's
I've
a
smoked
50.
those.
No, it's not
50.
a
Okay.
50. 50.
50. I've smoked
Magnum.
those. I like them.
I'm enjoying this. I hope you've noticed that my cigar smoking has become slower. I would have
I
gone
see
through
that.
this. I would have gone through this 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I'm only halfway through.
You're like me. Same
I
thing.
have been on purpose for at least 5 weeks, 6 weeks,
Right.
picking more solid sticks. So
Good.
going to the human. So you'll find that even in one box, some of the sticks are softer, some are harder.
Right.
That doesn't really is not indicative of how well filled they are necessarily. It's just you will get, depending on where they are in the box, more or less moisture.
Right.
And so I'm picking harder sticks, which means there's slightly more resistance on the draw, which means that I'm having to draw a little bit harder to get the same flavor, which means the
Right.
cigar is lasting longer, which means I'm perhaps technically getting a colder burn at the end, which means I'm tasting more of the oils. That's perhaps what's going on. I say
Okay.
perhaps. I'm not an expert. I've only been smoking cigars for 37 years. Um,
3 more years, you're an expert.
yeah, I have been
So
smoking cigars actually 38 years, if you count the
wow.
first year I was stealing them
Yeah.
uh, from my
That's a
father.
long
The year I
time.
was stealing them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm enjoying it. It's slightly cedary.
Okay.
On the retrohale, there's somewhere between a sweet and dry cedar.
Okay.
Slightly creamy.
Okay.
If you lick your lips afterwards, there's a slight taste left there that gives you a slight chewiness.
Okay.
There you go. That's as much as I can say about this cigar. Now, it's not the world's best cigar. It's not the world's worst cigar, but it
Right.
delivers. The very sophisticated thing about these Cuban cigars is if I walk out of this room and come back in and I smell the aroma of the room, that's what gets me sort of like in a
Yeah.
happy place.
Yeah.
The perfume.
Yeah. That's why I like walking in when, especially outside the United States, when you can walk into a cigar lounge or a chemist where you can smoke cigars, and it's the aroma of the different Cuban cigars. That's that's heaven.
Can you spot Cuban aroma versus the other aromas?
And yeah, because in the U.S. The non-Cubans have a different aroma than when I'm outside the U.S. and I'm going someplace where it's just Cubans only. In my mind, I can smell the difference. Now, I don't know if that's a real thing or if it's just my mind going, "Oh, that's a Cuban." I'm not sure, but in my mind, I can smell. In my mind, the difference. There's something just different about it, and I'm not sure what it is.
It's the aroma. I mean,
Oh, I'm sure. We've already discussed the New World cigars. They are okay, but they just don't have that wow. There's not a wow factor for the aroma. The Cubans do have it.
high street perfumes.
Yeah,
High street perfumes, like
yeah, yeah.
your Boss, or I don't know. You know the perfumes that you can pick up from your department store.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
they're different, especially these days, to the more expensive perfumes that are slightly more sophisticated and
Or
you
custom
spray
made for you. Right,
custom made. You spray it on 10, 15 minutes later, it's developed into a different smell.
right.
I don't know about you, I can tell when a perfume is expensive. And if it's not expensive, it's kidded me into thinking it's expensive, but there's a more sophisticated and a high street perfume which is kind of linear, it just hits and
Right.
it's gone. And that I think that's roughly the difference between the aromas of Cuban cigars and non-Cuban cigars.
Yeah. I have high. I have, to your point. I have high street cologne for men, and I can tell if I put that on compared to something that's not. That the high street will stay longer, and it just has this for the 8 or 10 or 12 hours has that nice whatever. If you put something on that's less expensive, it hits you all at once and it's gone
And it's
uh,
gone.
midday, and you're like, yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
but I still go with the when I get dressed up and go out. I like to smell nice. I smell like a French whore, and I don't care. I just think men should smell good when they go out. They should also dress well. And that's why I'm dressed in my limited production, sweatshirt from our show.
That's an exclusive, Stephen.
Just so you know, there's only 250 of these in the world.
And they're in your
They're
garage.
not in my closet. No, no, no. David made, we have a show called Rusty's Art. And as a joke, he made the creation of David, which is just Michelangelo's creation. So
Mhm.
in the shows, if you ever see me sitting in my office behind me, there's a picture of David and me pointing to him. This is this. And we did this as a joke because we had fans going, we want to buy the painting. We're like, we're not selling the painting. The painting was done for us. So we said, we'll make it in coffee mugs and hoodies. And David's like, we're only going to 250. And so a lot of people have bought this. And when I wear this out, people go, that's really cool. And then I'll go, you could buy it. And then we find that people buy it. So it's very interesting. So yeah, that's fun to wear. And it's warm. Like I said, it's like 6 Celsius here. So a little chilly and it keeps you nice and warm.
Do it as a t-shirt. I'll wear it.
We'll get a baseball cap and a t-shirt just for you. I'll have
I'll wear
David
it
make
under
one.
a smart suit at a next cigar.
I want to get you a baseball cap so you can wear the baseball cap of this on air and to all your functions. So when you go out, yeah, it'll be like, there he is. They'll be like, what the heck is wrong with this guy? So David's probably watching. He's probably right now trying to figure out
And
how
I
to make
want
this
and
into
I
a
want you
baseball
to
cap.
put MAGA on it. MAGA.
Yes, we'll do. I'm sure David will love that part. We'll put the MAGA logo on the back for you. So that'll be just a one-off just for you. My friend, as always, it has been a pleasure. Hopefully Usman will be back next week. We want to thank AVO, not that they gave us the cigars, but letting us smoke. H. Upman for the Magnum 50. And for all the supercar aficionados, feel free to leave a comment if you want. And Pagani or Konensack, feel free to come on and tell us what we don't know. And there you go. And good luck at your EGM and the boys over there. Hopefully I get
Yeah.
my cigars from them this week and I
No,
can
no, no.
smoke them next
I've given
week.
you a pledge. I'll send you one
Okay.
or two of the Alexander Craft sticks.
Okay. I'll look forward to that. And I'll smoke those on the air. Because in this way, it'll be like a real reaction. And, now the EGMs and whatever, are they ready to go smoke or do I have to keep them in the humidor for 2
No, no,
weeks?
that's just it. Modern cigars, even the Cubans, they're
Okay.
all ready to go. Some
Okay.
people recommend, some of the Bolivars that come out, age them. They're
Yeah. Yeah.
ready to, if you want to smoke them, they're ready to smoke. You
Okay.
get a little bit of rawness, but that even that is part of the experience.
Right. Okay.
It's
So
like
I
having a
assume,
sour apple, right?
oh,
A
those are the
sour
best.
apple technically is unripe.
Yeah.
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 But sour apple is still a flavor. You could still
Yeah.
try it.
That's true. And you say sour apple like you're from New York City. Congratulations. I'm very proud of you.
A
So
sour apple.
a sour apple. So there you go. I love it. That's the
Sour
best.
apple.
And my friend, it's always good to see you. Like I said, Usman,
It's my pleasure,
we
sir.
we miss the Usman because that's what the fans really watch. They don't care what we have to say. So we hope we entertained everybody for the hour, and hope you learned a little bit. And if you have comments, please do. And I will say, last week's show, lots of views and lots of comments. People loved it. So the live show as well as the rebroadcast. So people like what we're saying, and I'm very flattered that they stop you and tell you that they love the show. So thank you
Yeah,
for the
it's
fans.
happening more and more these days.
Oh,
And
okay.
I tell them fuck off.
It's good that you embrace the fans like that. It's a nice thing, you know. So it's like, yeah, hey, I love your show. Fuck you. Oh, all right, good. Yeah, don't bother him. Just
I have a
don't
right
ask for his
mind to join
autograph.
a club and hit you over the head with it.
Mm, there you go. So that's good. But it's nice that the fans love you. So that's
No,
very cool.
no one loves me. This is just
They do. They love you. That's why they watch the show.
they're enamored by you and I riffing with each other.
Then they come frozen for the knowledge, and that's when he's on. We don't say
They
anything.
come for the knowledge and they stay for the riffing.
They stay for and then when the Usman's on, you and I don't say anything for about 40 minutes because he has to give us, the sommelier thing, and then we do our thing. So it's very cool. So everybody, once again, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful Saturday wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, as we like to say, Geo to everybody. So I finished my
Geo
scotch. So Geo with my cran
and my
apple.
Coke.
So they're in your Coke.
Coke is it.
That's
Coke
what they
is it.
say. That's what the Colombians say. But anyway, everybody have a wonderful day. We'll see you next Saturday. Mr. Usman will be back with us, and God knows what we'll be smoking, maybe in EGM. That'll be exciting. And there you go. My friend, have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys later. Cheers, everybody.
God bless.
Cheers.